With everything that's happening in the world with social distancing and the quarantine, we wanted to make sure we made room for a real conversation. So we brought some youth in one at a time, and we wanted to talk about wisdom and all things that come with that.
How many times a day do you think that you ask Alexa or Google or Siri a question?
I ask Alexa at least once a day because one of the first things I do every morning when I wake up is I ask Alexa what the weather's gonna be. Yeah. So at least one question a day.
What do you guys think? How many times a day do you ask Alexa, Google, or Siri a question?
Never.
Probably like once every other hour.
I usually just like research it.
Just like once or twice.
So if you could know one thing about your future, who you're gonna marry, what you're gonna do, what would it be?
I want to know where I'm gonna live. That way I can start buying the right clothes now. Like if it's gonna be cold, if it's gonna be hot, like you just gotta plan accordingly, and then like you could buy the right furniture, everything.
It's kind of odd, but I would like to know like the obstacles I was gonna face so I could prepare like for when I get there.
I would want to know who my best friend is gonna be when I'm like 50 or 60, because the older I get, the more I realize how important friendship is. And I want to know who I should be like investing into now. Like who's going to be there for me, who's going to be my buddy, because I'm going to just double down on that relationship right now. So a huge part about what we want to accomplish with this conversation is helping us all think about the impact that decisions we make, like choices we make every day, how they lead up and they affect our life. Because at the end of the day, that's going to be what our life is. And so I know for me, I've had to make some tough choices in my life. I'd be interested to hear what everyone has to say about that. Like, what are some of the hardest decisions?
Probably not taking the college route, the typical go to a university type thing. I made that decision this past year of not going to a university, but probably either a community college or not college at all.
Saying yes to my dad whenever he like asked me if I could like propose to my mom. Cause if like I'm trying to see who he is and if he's actually gonna take care of her and like.
I know for me, one of the hardest decisions was deciding to propose to my wife. The moment that I started thinking about actually proposing to her, it got so real. I got cramps in my stomach. I was sweating because I'm like, this is forever. Do I really like her like that? And making that decision was so difficult.
So I think that it's easy to know when a decision is hard. It makes sense to like probably the mass of people you could say, I have to make this decision, and everyone would identify, okay, that's a hard decision. But then I feel like sometimes we make decisions that outwardly might not look that hard, but they still internally really stress us out. So what are some decisions that you feel like you have to make that are stressful?
I think the decisions that like don't have a definite answer, where it's kind of like, oh, where do you like want to go for dinner, or what do you want to like do this weekend? It's like there's no right or wrong answer, but you have to make the decision.
I think future decisions where I have to decide if I make this decision, how bad is it gonna impact my future? How like negatively or how positively can this be for my future?
I know instantly it's like confrontation, because I'm like, if I don't say anything, then maybe things will get better on their own. But if I say something and we fight, oh my gosh, it's all over. Like that's what my stress tells me.
Yeah, it's like they like add up. Like nothing drains me more than those like little things of like, oh, now I've got to solve this conflict or I've got to figure this out. Even little decisions for me of like, am I gonna work out today? Am I gonna eat healthy? And it's like all of those, like I've heard that there's such thing as decision fatigue. Like you only can make so many decisions in a day before you're just exhausted.
I've read an article about how Steve Jobs specifically wore a uniform every day to solve himself, to save himself from having to make decisions early in the morning, so that decision fatigue didn't like set on early. So that's why he wore like those dad jeans and New Balances and black turtlenecks every day, because he really didn't want to have decision fatigue.
What do you think is the difference between wisdom and knowledge?
Knowledge is facts. Wisdom is like someone's personal experience, and they can help you through that.
I think knowledge is easier to obtain than wisdom is. I think that anyone can gain knowledge, but I don't think that anyone can gain wisdom without actual effort.
Google and YouTube right now can teach you anything. But the reality is you could be so smart but make the stupidest decisions. You can know what the right choice is. Oh, should I hang out with these people until 3 a.m. when we're supposed to be social distancing? Or should I go home and try and respect my parents and the boundaries they're putting in place?
Knowledge is basically worthless unless you apply it. And I would say wisdom is the application of knowledge.
Well, we know this has been a pretty different episode of Real Talk, but we wanted to let you guys know with everything going on, we're still here for you. And there's no better time to think about the future you, the person you're becoming, than right here, right now. So we hope this conversation helps you connect the dots between the decisions you're making now and the you that you're becoming later. We love you guys. We believe in the you.
Hey, we hope you enjoyed that video. Honestly, we create content like this just for you. And whether you're engaging with your friends and your family, or whether it's just with the comments below, we would love for you to continue to do that. Make sure you subscribe, click that bell for notifications, and we hope to see you at the next video. Love you.